So the good news is I came in after the weekend and the TVR body is still suspended. It hasn't fallen off the ramp, it hasn't snapped in half. So in today's video, guys, we will be getting that body somehow onto the floor and out the way and checking over that chassis. So we are nearly halfway through this restoration. Yes, I'm fully aware that this is the very easy half, just stripping everything down. But if you haven't seen this series before, click in the top right hand corner and go back and watch the series up to now. We are clear, we have nothing in the way, so what I'll need to do, I've got 2 pallets here. I'm hoping I can just roll the chassis out, lower the body onto 2 pallets. I also have, I bought ages ago, a couple of skates, so I'm hoping I can put a skate under each pallet, and then I'll be able to roll the body, and I'm probably going to put it where the Golf is. Now the Golf drives, I can get out of the way and like tuck the body in the corner, and then we can, yeah, get the chassis back on the ramp and have a good look over exactly what we're dealing with. So if you're new to the channel, please do like and subscribe if you like these types of videos. Also go follow me on Instagram at saving_salvage. Right, so hopefully I can just pull it. Come on, come on, hurry, hurry. There we go, come on. Nearly. Come on. So the idea will be to sweep all this mess up like so, and then I have no idea how I'm going to get it over that hump in the middle. Right, this is where the problem begins, because now I've got to the ramp. However, I wonder if I can just... Yeah, it's light enough to lift, but it's just lifting it off the pallet. So unless I can like lift, shove, and don't know, let's try. Well, I might be able to do that. Yeah, it's an option. It's an option. Give it a go. Very risky one, but still okay. I can still see how that rear pallet. So that's a bit of an issue. Oh, okay, now the problem. Now the problem. Bring it back, bring it back. Come back! Right, I need 2 people. Yep. Now, while I take a 5-minute breath, I just want to say a massive thanks to YFood, who's kindly sponsored today's video and has kindly continued to support the channel, allowing us to do builds like this one here. Now, if you don't know already, YFood is a meal replacement drink. It is not to be confused with a diet shake. They contain 26 different vitamins and minerals in. You can have it as a lunch, breakfast, or dinner substitute. They contain around 500 calories for the bottle, and the powder form contains around 400 calories. The powder form is really easy. You mix it with water, you get a shaker with it, and it's easy as that. Tastes really nice, and the bottles, literally, you don't even have to keep refrigerated. You can keep in your cupboard or your fridge, and yeah, they're really tasty. Now, they have loads of different flavors. They're bringing out new flavors all the time. This is one of my new favorites, mango lassi. Now, these do keep you full for quite a long time. Now, I have a big appetite, and these even keep me full for between sort of like 4 and 5 hours, which, yeah, amazed me. If you haven't tried YFood before, I do recommend you give them a try. If you click the link in my description, it takes you over to their website, and you can either choose a starter pack if you haven't tried them before. If you know what you're doing, you can just select what drinks you want. If you put my discount code in, which is salvage10 at the checkout, you'll get an additional 10% off. So a massive thanks to YFood for continuing to support the channel. Well, that was actually nowhere near as bad as I thought. Or considering the whole car weighs just over a ton, and that must weigh at least 700 kilos of it. I mean, that means the tub only is like 250, 300 kilos. So actually lifting up the front end was really, really light. And yeah, that just went a lot easier than I thought it was going to go. So at some point today, I do need to sort this out because I need to get... I'm probably going to do, obviously not in this video, but a video on the Golf because the parts have just arrived for that. So I can at least get that out the way. I'm going to put the Cerbera shell in that gap just tucked out the way for the minute because I'm not going to worry about this for the moment. I'm going to concentrate on the chassis and the engine. So I think we're just about to go around. I'm going to take this insulation cover off and then we're going to go around, have a look at the whole thing. And I'm going to take loads and loads of pictures because, yeah, as you can see, that I need to remove all this and then put it all back in the right position. So, yeah, interesting. Yeah, so it looks like this cowling, I don't know if it can be replaced because it's a bit burnt. I don't think it's damaged. You might just need a clean, to be fair. But the rest of it looks okay. But it's actually, yeah, just held on with cable ties. So let's cut all the cable ties and we'll try and remove it. Oh no, I think it's alright. Good. No sudden movements. Right, so I've just gone around with a brush and just try to brush off all the cobwebs, dirt and everything so we can just have a quick look, an overview of the condition of the chassis and other components. Now, actually, it's not in that bad condition. Apart from one obvious actual rusted through part on the other side, which I'll show you in a minute, most of it is just surface rust. So we'll just start here, just concentrating on the actual chassis at the moment. It's just got loads of parts like this where obviously the coat, the paint has come off and it's just gone rusty below. There's loads of areas like that. This is obviously being the worst bit here because that's where the exhaust is, so it's got hot. I mean, you can see how close it is to the exhaust, so why they didn't either wrap the chassis in a protective heat protection or the exhaust, I don't know. But obviously the result is that's completely rusty there. But again, I think it's just possibly surface rust. I don't know if that can be repaired. Got some more bubbling here where it's close to the... don't think that's going to go through. Yeah, close to the exhaust again. But up here, look at that, beautiful. This side on the outriggers is actually, again, mostly just surface rust. It isn't too bad. Now, don't get me wrong, bit more damage down here. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I have no experience in working on TVR chassis whatsoever, so what can and cannot be repaired, I am definitely not qualified to make comments on, but it's just what I assume. So, going around here, the back, again, it looks okay. Obviously this part here, just being the chassis part, it all looks actually pretty clean at the back here. Just some more surface rust in places. This is probably the worst bit here. But yeah, doesn't look too bad. Again, more. It's just like loads of little spots. Again, it's pretty much the same this side, but obviously the exhaust isn't this side, so it's in a bit better condition. The outriggers aren't too bad down this side, and it's definitely a lot nicer down here. Yeah, the chassis, especially in the middle, it actually looked pretty good. Now obviously here is our main bit of damage. Oh, and this is where we can actually see that it's gone through and completely rusted. So in my opinion, this is the only bit that needs or requires major repair. Now again, I don't know how they get repaired, if they can be repaired. I assume the company that will repair it has some sort of jig and they can maybe replace like that. I don't know. Obviously that's a conversation I'll have to have with them, but yeah, that is the only real main damage to the chassis. Everything else looks pretty surface. Yeah, and just around the front, not too bad. Bit more paint off the front here again. But other than that, you've got more here. But no, it's not definitely not as bad as I thought, and I don't think it's as bad as a lot of you thought, judging by the comments in the last video as well. So yeah, that's the chassis. The obviously suspension components, they're all going to be completely gone. Like, just for example, look at the bushes at the back here, absolutely perished. So yeah, wishbones, steering arms, everything, they'll all be coming off and either replaced or sandblasted down and repainted. All the bushes will need to be replaced. Any rubber bush on this car will need to be replaced. And then you've got anti-roll bars especially. I mean, drop links, anti-roll bars, they're completely, yeah, just absolutely mank. So that's a given. Brake lines as well. They're, I mean, all corroded here, up here, look, they're all corroded. So brake lines are all going to be replaced. Just makes sense. I mean, they may not all need replacing, but they are starting to bubbling areas. Like, you've got rust here on the brake pipes, and while we've got the chassis like this and just like as a documentation and a restoration project, it just makes complete sense to replace all brake lines while we can, and it's easily done, because you've got more evidence of them rusting and corrosion. Look, yeah, look at that, look at the, you can see the corrosion and the bubbling of the pipe. So that actually should pretty much be an MOT fail anyway. So yeah, all brake pipes just being replaced just makes it easier. What else we got? Same again on the front with bushes, components, drum licks, anti-roll bars. I can see how it can be quite overwhelming getting it to this position, because you're like, where do I start? Like, everything pretty much needs replacing, but is there a logical order to do it in? Is it worth getting prices on everything before you start just replacing stuff? Because you don't want to start replacing everything to find out that one thing is going to cost way too much money and not be financially worth it. So I guess, yeah, we'll take the engine gearbox out. We'll try and get strip the chassis as much as we can, and that's the point. I should really then start doing some research on how much all these replacement bushes, parts, wishbones are going to cost. There are some common problems on the engine. Yes, it only had a full engine rebuild 17,000 miles ago, but I think that's pretty standard for this engine in the TVR. So there's some things that we need to check while the engine's out, that you can only do while the engine's out. So then hopefully the engine will be good. Then there's a ECU that I need to look at as well, because I don't think I'm going to go with a factory ECU. I think because of the loom issue I've got as well, I think I'm going to try and go for like a standalone one, which is going to be more efficient and can extract more reliability, power and economy out of the engine. So that's one thing I need to look at as well. So yeah, I guess engine and gearbox out. Let's go. Right, I'm making good progress. So I've got pretty much everything else down the side here. Coolant flange off of the engine down the bottom. I managed to remove the earth strap from the chassis and just tuck it out of the way. Nothing else on the front. Just going around. I've just drained all the oil from the oil tank, so I'll show you that in a moment. I've just had to jack it up though, because I've got this one chunky braided oil pipe here which goes to the bottom of the engine, and I can't, there's no access to undo it because it's under the power steering pump. So I'm just having to jack it up so I can get a bit of clearance from underneath, because that braided pipe is wedged under the steering arm, and that's another reason I've jacked up, so I can now turn the steering and see if I can undo that arm as well, because it's proper wedge. So once I've removed that, I've again undone the rest of the connections down the side as well. So it should just be then a case of removing the prop shaft from the back, a couple of bolts, and then yeah, remove all the mountings and kind of lift it like up at the front and like pull it out. That should pull the prop shaft off. And yeah, because as you can see, look, the gearbox is under the chassis, so I need to kind of tilt it up and out, hopefully. Hopefully. shaft up. Right, as you can see, I've jumped the gun a bit. I've undone engine mounts, gearbox mounts, put my hoist on it, so hopefully I should just be at a case where I can just jack it up and lift it out. So I've got the engine and gearbox out, that's fine. Made a bit of a mess though. Yeah, note to self, drain fluids before I start messing around, because I keep doing this, I keep forgetting to drain fluids, getting carried away, and then they just end up all over the floor, and I don't even have any granules, couldn't get any till tomorrow, so there's just a mess on the floor now. So yeah, as I say, engine's out, so we're gonna have a look at that in a moment. The priority is obviously getting the chassis stripped down so it can be sent off for a repair / replacement. That is the priority at the moment. So the next thing we're gonna do is probably, so next I think I'm gonna try and take out the diff, and to do that it's gonna be wheels off, drive shafts out, unbolt the drive shafts. I'm assuming there'll just be one long bolt going through the little drive shaft joint, which means then I can detach those both sides, and then the diff looking like it will just fall out through the bottom once I've done those bolts. Very nearly didn't learn my own lesson about draining oils, although looks to be pretty pointless. Oh, beautiful. There we go. Out you come. One diff. Right, we are getting somewhere. Excuse the absolute mess, but it is a bit of a nightmare trying to work on the floor, and constantly with bolts that are now hard to get to because I just have modular chassis pieces all in the way everywhere, and they are very rusty. Now, as you can see, diff is out. That car pass. Yep, so diff is out, and the operation of the diff sounds fine. I can't hear any whirring noise or anything. It's mainly coming from the hubs. So I think we'll be fine just either sending that away to be like cleaned and powder coated, reconditioned, whatever. But the diff is out. I can't actually get my drive shafts out at the minute because for some reason I need a 40mm socket, and I have everything but a 40mm socket. So I'm going to have to go and get one of those tomorrow so I can remove the drive shafts. I don't want to take the hubs off at the moment, purely because if I do that, then I won't be able to like roll the chassis anywhere, and obviously where it is at the minute is not in an ideal position. So as you can see, I just took off the top mount so I could tilt the drive shaft forward to get the diff out. So I will put that back together. I have to take the brakes and the discs off anyway, so I can remove the handbrake cable, which is a bit of a pain. But then I've removed all the brakes, so brake cables and the brake lines fully removed down there. And yeah, that's pretty much it on the rear, so we don't have much left to do. Depending on who I send the chassis to, I don't know what the state, I don't know if they can do like the wishbones as well, so I can leave them in situ, or I'll need to, if they want to me to remove them, obviously I can do that. So I'm kind of waiting for a response before I take those off. So I'm going to leave it there for today's video, guys, purely because I'm driving all day tomorrow, which means if I don't finish the video here, it's going to be another 2 days before you get this update. So I thought we'll end it here. We're halfway through the strip down anyway, so it won't be too much longer. And obviously in the next video, we can just finish stripping the front, finish stripping the whole chassis. Actually, I have no idea what's going to happen in the next video. I'm just completely winging it. So in the next video, stuff will happen, and yeah, we'll get further along. I just don't know what that will be. So, and what I'll do also is, yeah, completely tidy up all this mess, and I'm just going to lay out everything. I'm going to keep all the parts to everything at the moment. So yeah, because stuff like my brake hose T-piece, I'll be able to keep things like that because that'll be absolutely fine. And also I just want to keep everything so I can show you exactly what I've got. I've started compiling a list of stuff down there as well. So yeah, this will be a lot nicer in the next video. So as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, have a good weekend. Cheers, guys.